get started, and I'll open with prayer and then stand for the pledge. Lord, thank you for this beautiful morning and the opportunity to come before you and come together as a commission and staff and Lord, just take up the business that comes before us. As we think about school starting today and some starting yesterday, Lord, we pray it'll be a good year for our kiddos. There'll be a lot of learning take place, a lot of activities that they can participate in. And just ask that all the miles that be driven and all the activities that take place and would be successful in a good, safe school year for everyone. Lord, we thank you for who you are and what you do, and we always lean into your wisdom, Lord, just seeking counsel and searching for the knowledge we need to complete the work that we've been asked to do. We just love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have minutes for August 12th.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve the minutes as written for August 12th.
Okay, a motion second. I do have a question. I did not know whether this was intentional or whether I overlooked it, but I did not see
I needed to look that up,
from the
that was intentional, I needed to go get that.
where it talks about there and under the tax rate hearing, let's see,
From the
levy
suggested states.
paperwork and financial calculations, which included sales tax calculations, which lower the state's suggested tax from blank to 0.0457. So.
That was intentional, I was gonna go look it up and I forgot. I'll get it.
Okay, so that's my only question, and I think Linda's addressed that appropriately. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the agenda with the additional information being inserted from state suggested tax ceiling to 0.0457.
Aye.
Yes.
Can I ask for the vote?
Yeah.
You guys are right.
You did in a roundabout
You
way.
said I have a first and a second, which is,
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, and it's approved. Okay, next order of business, we did not have any CDT applications come in this week. I think we've received the vast majority of those. I think there's probably a handful hanging out there. I'm not sure how many, but I know we haven't seen them all yet. So then the next thing I would like to do is, let's see if we can finish the application for the driveway and entrance. Theresa had presented some additional information and I went through and marked it up, made some changes that either I wasn't paying attention or just needed further clarification. So at this time, I would like to see if we can get this done today. If not, at least get the final draft ready to approve it next week. So, see if I can find all my notes here. I think there was agreement on the application itself. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
As far as the entrance application,
Yes,
I think
sir.
it was all good there, I think.
Yes, sir. Then if I go to, and I think this is what Theresa put together for us based upon the conversation we had, was under section 1, this is the Laclede County driveway entrance / culvert policy. If you go to this, the first paragraph again just spells out the statutory guidelines that we're to follow and implement. And then paragraph number 2, I think, was, we have highlighted there, initial and replacement or additional driveway. The property owner is responsible for providing, placing initial and replacement or additional driveway culverts on site which meet Laclede County specifications. Installation including excavation and gravel fill dirt shall be responsibility of the county. So I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, we believe the initial and additional driveway culverts the property owner is responsible for, but I didn't think we were talking about replacement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
That's
so
what I
I'd like
read.
to omit replacement. And then we talked about on the, where it says installation including excavation, gravel fill dirt shall be responsibility of the county. I thought we'd indicated that the person that requests the culvert to be installed, they would provide one load of material. Was that our intention there as well?
My understanding was they would provide the gravel, dirt, or whatever was suggested by our inspector that goes out.
Okay, and so then we need to reword that. We will do the actual installation, but how do we state that maybe in addition to, let's see, property owner, the initial culvert. So could we say something in addition to the initial or additional culvert, the applicant is responsible for blank?
The additional driveway entrance culverts and the materials, gravel, fill dirt, etc. that it takes. Laclede County will take care of all equipment and labor to install.
And we'll,
Excavation and placement of
okay, so
culvert.
let's get that word, let's get that, so,
Using the word materials?
so we can get that.
So are you just using the word materials?
Sure.
Is that something that is all inclusive that will say, in other words, here's the tangible things the owner is responsible for, and the county is responsible for the installation?
I believe that's our intent. You know, when we actually do the site inspection, we're going to know what the scope of work's gonna be in its entirety. And I think it'd be normal that we do expect us to do some excavation ourselves, right? You know, we're gonna be putting a pipe in there and maybe working on the back slope or whatever that might be.
I don't think all excavation should be us because we don't get the ditches too deep either.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
So what I would say, maybe just to simplify, installation shall be the responsibility of the county and not get real wordy about, the actual detail on, you know, to drill down.
Shorten it up, simplify it, right?
I like that.
So Theresa, would you read that back to us so that we know what we just said?
Okay, absolutely. So, do you want me to do the whole paragraph or just the second sentence?
The second paragraph in its entirety would
Okay.
be good.
So the property owner is responsible for providing and placing initial or additional driveway entrance culverts on site which meet Laclede County specifications. Installation shall be the responsibility of the county.
Okay, what we need to be, that last sentence, to precede it, we do need to speak to the, if we're gonna, materials, yeah.
Before installation.
Yeah.
So materials.
Entrance culverts and materials needed.
Culverts and materials on site which meet Laclede County specifications.
And then installation shall be the responsibility of the county.
Culverts and materials.
and it would be communicated by our inspector with, probably our road and bridge foreman, when they do the site inspection and get the application, signed, make sure it's all complete, that they can make the homeowner aware of the, again, just reiterate the culvert, because it could be more than 24 or more than 20 feet, right? So there's gonna be some communication that's gonna take place at that.
That's probably gonna be addressed here in this box.
Yes. Yeah.
What else we might wanna address in that box is materials. Whether that be one load, two loads, and what is expected.
Yeah, so, point well made. Previous discussion that I recall would be that we would ask that one load be there. If it ends up being a 60-foot
Yeah,
culvert
40.
for whatever, 40, then I think that could be communicated at that time, and the work wouldn't start until the material is on site before we go out there, so.
If we're naming a 20-foot section, one load of rock per 20. If it gets bigger, that's gonna be more rock, so one
Right.
load, just specifying one load is not gonna catch. So but you're right, I mean, I'm thinking with the discussion of what it is with our inspector or whatever, that will be taken care of at that time. And they'll know that, cause he should know whether it's gonna take one load or 1.5 loads or 2 loads, or what we're looking at.
So
I think it would be nice to have a spot. Exactly.
Well, I don't disagree.
Exactly what we're expecting.
And then that way it's
We're
noted.
expecting that culvert to be there. We're
And he
gonna put
says, oh,
that-
he only told me one load.
Yeah.
And there it is, the application that they signed. So now,
Do we have that language kind of under section 3 and section 4? Where it talks about the prior to the property owner's purchase or acquisition of the culvert, a site inspection shall be conducted by the department to determine culvert size, location, and safety, site distance, and then specs. It says driveway extensions may be authorized at applicant's expense of all materials, extension, bands, rock, etc. Labor shall be provided by the department, and then it says all materials should be on site the day before the scheduled install.
yeah, but I think what to Eric's point is, it's not specifying, everything else is being specified in the application as far as length and diameter, but he's not seeing anything that tells what kind of rock and how much of each.
So
Whether it be
that
1
means
inch
no-
clean, it need one load of 1 inch base and one load of 1 inch clean for this specific deal, or one load of this and a half a load of that, is what you're saying.
And I think it could be as simple as
Materials.
other materials and a line, just give them something to.
That way it holds accountability and
Yeah,
clarification.
They're gonna get to keep
It's
it.
not a
and
he
they're
said,
not
she
gonna
said.
forget.
Where it's not a he said, she said thing.
So we're gonna add a line that just simply says material.
Estimated
I like it.
materials?
Yeah.
Materials or estimated materials?
I like the estimated materials. Mhm.
Is there a certain tonnage that comes?
It depends on yeah, there is, you're right, there's different sizes of your trucks, cause you can have an 8-ton load or you can get a 16-ton load. So that's why I think that is good to add that in there, because it's gonna specify
The tonnage?
what we're looking at, it should. I mean, I think our inspector, our road foreman, when he gets out there, he'll say, hey, we're gonna need one load of 16 ton, or, and
I think that would, if that were me, then I might not even know that I needed to hear the tonnage, but hearing the tonnage would then get me, getting you the right stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that accountability for clarification is a good thing to have in there.
Yes.
So, because of that.
Okay.
So on that line under office use only, estimated materials, that people can, the inspector
I
can
like
write
it.
in the
Yeah,
amount,
yeah.
right, of tonnage.
And that way it's signed off on and everybody's,
Okay,
Okay, so it sounds like, we're done with section one, now we'll go to section two, and this says application. And prior to construction, temporary or permanent, onto county right of way, an application shall be obtained, completed, and submitted to the Laclede County Commission, parentheses, county clerk's office, because they need additional,
Stuff to do.
Because we're
exactly.
gonna have a file folder we just handed to them.
And that was just a rewording of the sentence that we proposed last time. It was like 3 sentences and we got it down to 1 for clarity.
I think it was great.
Okay.
It was good. Are we in agreement with section two?
Yeah.
Okay. Section three, site inspection. Prior to the property owner's purchase or acquisition of culvert, a site inspection shall be conducted by the Laclede County Road and Bridge Department, known as Department, to determine culvert size, location, safety, site distances. So Theresa came up with, instead of saying road and bridge multiple times, I think her recommendation was that we just refer to it as the department. I'm okay with that, but then I also to offer an option known as county. And I don't know where else that's gonna repeat through here. There was somewhere else that.
Here's one just below the next paragraph.
So it can be department or it can be county, either one. I'm not saying I prefer mine over Theresa's, but I'm putting it out there as an option, and I'm good either way, gentlemen.
I kinda like county.
Yeah, I'm kinda more into the county too, it's either that or I was gonna do R&B. I'd even shorten it up more. County's good with me.
Okay, Theresa, would you, okay,
Change them all to county.
county.
So that won't be confusing with county clerk's office or anything
No.
like that? It's
No,
like county.
I think it speaks to the greater
Absolutely.
county.
I'll change all of those.
Okay, and then section four, so are we okay with the reading on section three then? Once we change department to county. Okay, hearing no objection, section four, all driveway culverts will be corrugated metal pipe, minimum 12 inches in diameter and a minimum 20 feet in length with maximum length of 60 feet unless otherwise determined by the county. Any thoughts, any need to change anything there?
The word length is misspelled, I'll correct
Yes.
that.
I got that.
There's our English major grammar. Spelling commissioner. He's pretty good at it. I did find one
That was
on
in
the next page
parentheses,
though.
Huh?
That one wasn't.
You found what?
When we go to maintenance, I thought I was going to culvers instead of culverts.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
got
we're
that
doing
too.
culvert?
Culvert is pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, Culver's coming to us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Culver's is coming to us.
Okay, so, are we okay with, paragraph one then?
You bet.
Okay, paragraph two, driveway extensions may be authorized at applicant's expense of all materials. Labor shall be provided by, and again, we'll change that. Is that okay? And then the next sentence would be, all materials, culvert, rock, et cetera, must be on site the day before scheduled installation. Are we okay with that?
Believe so.
Okay, and then the final paragraph there would be, for concerns or questions regarding the policy, please contact the Laclede County Commission, or they can visit our website. And after we approve this, then we can get this put out there on our website. Okay, now, this is where I think I got lost last week, or maybe should have been paying a little more attention under section 5, maintenance, I think we do need to have that, in maintenance paragraph. But there was some of that in there that, I wasn't sure about, so I proposing a couple of edits. So I'm gonna read what's presented. The department will maintain the drainage of the culvert. And then the landowner will maintain the culvert and the material that covers the culvert associated with the driveway. And then the next bullet point was, in an effort to keep ditches along our roadways clear of debris, the department will clean them out. In this process, a culvert associated with the driveway entrance may need to be replaced. In the event this occurs, the department will require the landowner to purchase the culvert, and the department will install the culvert at no expense to the landowner. Next bullet point, the department has the right to remove any or all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements of this application, and to remove culverts that are non-working. In the event this occurs, the department will require the landowner to purchase a culvert, and the department will install the culvert at no expense to the landowner. Final bullet point under that would be, when the county commission designates a county road to be asphalt or chip seal, the preparation of the road is critical. Ditching and proper drainage are the most important aspects, along with adding material to the subgrade and crowning the road. The department will inform the landowner of proper size culvert and will require the landowner to purchase a culvert. The department will install the culvert at no expense to the landowner. This is required to ensure proper installation of culvert done in a timely manner. So humor me on my 2 edits, and then please, let's make it the best it can be. So I think I started out then, as the first bullet point, in an effort to keep ditches along our roadways clear of debris, the county will clean out culverts to help maintain proper drainage of county roads or our roadways, whatever the grammatically. And I did that just to speak to the maintenance aspect, that's kind of our responsibility. I took out the replacement culvert because it's been our policy historically, and I think what we've discussed, once the landowner purchases the initial culvert, then any culvert that needs to be replaced in the future has traditionally, and I believe it's our intent, that we would install a replacement culvert. So I took that part out, and then the next line, or the next bullet point, and maybe these blend together at some point, the county has the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements of this application. And then we could add something at the homeowner's expense there. And that's a result of, someone installed a pipe without our knowledge, and then that pipe was one of the poly pipes that we're not going to use, or it's not the right size to provide adequate drainage. Then is that what we want to make sure is spelled out in the application on the maintenance side, that if it doesn't meet a requirement, and even if it goes on that side, or if that goes back to doesn't even fit under maintenance, and I think it could go either way, but so please share thoughts on that. And then I felt like the paragraph that when we asphalt or chip seal, I think it's going to be expected that as we update or have the opportunity possibly to perform those type of updates on county roads, that we're going to make sure it's done. A lot of those culverts may be fine, some of them may not be. But if we're going to bear the expense of the chip and seal or a asphalt project, if we have to put in 2 or 3 or 4 culverts, in a couple of mile stretch, I think that's, and the culverts were already, and most of them already be there. I don't find it necessary that we're gonna state that's gonna be at the expense of the landowner at that point. But those are Randy's thoughts.
If we're gonna have that paragraph in there, I would like to put if instead of when at the very start of that.
Well, that's another reason why I was, to your thought process there, I was probably not thinking to include it all, but I would definitely agree with if instead of when, because right now we really don't have any budget that would allow us to consider when.
How about
Right.
just yes,
I'm at the mindset, just do away with that one, as far as that bullet point, because I do believe that would be expected upon the county if we're going to go ahead and chip and seal or asphalt or do something like that with the road, that we've already took into consideration what that's gonna take, what it's gonna cost, and we're not gonna put that burden back on the citizens. I don't feel that would be right, you know, if that's what we're doing. So I would just like to leave that whole paragraph, not even have that even in there.
And there might even be, locations where, if we were able to do that, we might be able to pull out a few good used culverts, put in something new but again, it speaks to the whole project and not just a specific culvert, because, last estimates we had on a mile of paving was, gosh, it was 200 grand plus, and that quote's probably a year and a half old now. So, if we had to throw in a $300 or $400 culvert to make that project stand up to time, it's gonna be a small investment on our part, so.
Right.
Okay, so Theresa, how can you wordsmith, what I want under maintenance, and I've got it really down to maybe one paragraph, or actually probably two.
Okay, so just making sure the last bullet, we're going to remove that entire bulleted amount because this has nothing to do with the landowner. That is county's responsibility to take care of that, okay.
Yeah.
So making sure of that. Otherwise, the maintenance we're looking at,
I'll kind of restate then,
Yeah.
In an effort to keep ditches along our roadways clear of debris, the county will clean out culverts to help maintain maybe the proper drainage, I don't know if the needs to be in there, or just proper drainage of our roadways.
just hand me your notes and we'll take it
Okay,
from there.
well, hopefully you can read it. And I had trouble reading your writing the other day because it was very eloquent.
Oh, I was gonna say, my handwriting is awful.
No, it was like, okay, I'm not sure, I mean, it was, mine is just scribbling, yours is very, very professional,
Oh,
but difficult to,
I was trying to make a good
I don't
impression.
know, yours is a lot better than what Linda and I looked at earlier today, we can break it down by letter. Together.
Okay,
All right,
I got it.
all right, and then, so are we okay with that? That kind of spells out our responsibility under maintenance, and maybe implies that we don't want a landowner out there, with their blade on the back of their tractor trying to clean out a culvert and then damage the culvert or something. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But to me, it spells out what our responsibility is.
I don't mind being out there with a shovel and stuff, but
but there you go, okay? And I don't know if there's an eloquent way to put that in this, or if it's even the right spot for it, but, a little mindfulness on my part, if I have a culvert, and I see there's a pile of leaves in front of it, get them out of there. I feel like it's my duty on my culvert to help.
Years ago, that's the way a lot of it used to be. I mean, I remember helping my uncles and my dad and them, I mean, the culverts and the driveways and stuff that we would help, you know,
Yeah.
and everything. So. Remember being down
And
there,
there's
we'd
still
rake them
plenty of
out, they'd
people
burn
out
them.
there who do, but
Mhm.
there's a large segment that probably don't put any thought to it.
Yeah, I completely agree with your sentiment, as making it part of, a formal policy, though I think it would be very difficult to do that.
Yeah.
For different reasons. One is statutorily, it's our responsibility, and, you know, the floods come through, and, you know, you have roads down there, as we all know, our road grader operators will tell us the biggest challenge they have in the fall and early
It
winter
leaves.
are leaves,
Mhm.
you know, and if you're a homeowner and you live in some of these neighborhoods and you get your yard all free of, and clear of leaves, and the wind changes tomorrow, your neighbors are back in your yard. So, you know, I think it's great, and I think there are a lot of people do it, but at the same time, I think it would be
Yeah.
impossible for us to
Maybe we
really-
can-
Not everybody does it. I mean, even back then, not everybody done it, you know.
Sure.
Do a little better job of maybe trying to stay in front of it just a little bit, on our website, just a friendly reminder, hey, leaves are falling. Have you looked at your culvert lately?
So question for you, so really, the main point of these 3 bullets are, as far as, okay, I'm taking the position as a homeowner, okay?
Mhm.
I'm only gonna be charged if I put an incorrect driveway in and didn't tell you guys about that, and you guys deem that as being inadequate because it's causing problems to the road because my culvert was too small? So is that kind of, otherwise the maintenance, the things that happen on that road and the maintenance associated is not my responsibility. I mean, I'm trying to make sure I understand the takeaway of these 3, or these bulleted items as a homeowner perspective.
You kinda got it.
Okay, so only if I do something malicious or knowing
Unknowing.
I put the wrong size pipe in there and it's causing issues.
Or maybe it was installed, maybe it's the right size pipe, but it was installed incorrectly.
Okay,
With that being said and everything, there's gonna be some out there, that was put in that may be a 12-inch pipe when it was done. And that was before some other development and stuff had happened, and now it needs to have an 18-inch pipe. So do you put some type of timeline on that? You grandfather those in? I mean, now obviously a newer subdivision or a newer development, you know, within the last 2 years or something like that. But I think we need to have something there because there's gonna be some of that. I mean, we see that. We've got it happen out here on Hazel Road. We've got it happening over on a couple other roads where people went in and cleared land off, and now it just floods it.
A lot more water now than there was 10 years ago, 20 years
So
ago.
I guess my
So
first
some of those,
question, Joe,
we
would
deem it
be,
inadequate. It was good then, and it's been there for 15 years.
yeah,
Still same culvert, never had been picked up because I got out there and I cleaned her out.
right. So, let's hold that thought for a minute and let's talk it through.
Yeah, that's what that bullet point is referencing.
One thing I would point out would be that I think our intent on this is to have a formal application to establish, what the minimum standards are and what's required of the homeowner, what's expected, from the county. We may have better records today than we had, 20 years ago, with culverts. I think we're taking, that into consideration as we're putting these culverts in, so maybe 15 years from now, when this happens, maybe you have more data that you can fall back on. But I don't think the intent of this, was ever to be punitive. It's, again, forward-looking, and if we run into these situations and maybe there's that 12-inch or 15-inch and it needs replaced, if we can salvage that somehow and put in the proper size now, I would come down on the side that that's going to be, our responsibility, because we know that when we have proper drainage and we keep the water off the road, it results in a better road bed, and hopefully at some point less maintenance, and use of resources on our part. So I don't know how often this would happen. I mean, you have some contemporary examples there, but, I'm not sure it's, warrants putting that in a policy when we go out there and probably do that, on occasion currently, and not put that back on the landowner. Is it so if it's upstream from the landowner and the landowner had a 15-inch pipe, and now we come back in and say, Mr. Landowner, you need an 18-inch pipe or 24-inch pipe. He says, well, I wasn't the one that caused this problem. You gotta go up here to the guy that cleared the property. Are we gonna go up there to that guy and that landowner and say, okay, we need you to pay for this culvert down here? I'm just not sure how that works. So I think we should bear that responsibility in those instances where that happens.
Yeah, that's what
those rings.
I think we're saying the same thing, but the way it's written here is not.
Okay. All right, let me focus back on the
We're on that third bullet point there, that
Okay, and that's, show me,
fall down there in that third bullet point, when you come down there to, when it talks the events that this occurs. That case, remove culverts, that's culverts again, remove culverts that are not
we
working.
can't remove culverts. That's one of my better burger
But
slides.
In the event that this occurs, the county will require the landowner to purchase the culvert.
No, what we're doing, we're taking that out of there, Joe, I thought, and the two paragraphs would be, states our responsibility and effort to keep ditches clean, that's paragraph 1, and then the only
Okay, so
other
you took the third bullet point out as well.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I'm good with that.
And here's what I'm trying to say, and please, let's make it what it needs to be. The county has the right to remove any and all culverts that do not meet the minimum requirements of this application. Now,
Yes, I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep that.
yeah,
Keep
and it's
something. I'm good
this,
with that.
it's this application.
Yeah, okay. I'm good with that. I didn't, when we was going through those, I thought we was gonna do them bullet point by bullet point, but you went through like 3 of them before we actually.
I could have skipped
And
one,
that's-
Joe, or
so just
left one
right.
out. Really, just
I'm, you gotta remember, I'm a little more simple.
just condensing that. Okay, so I think we can get through, we can make section 5 maintenance, and if possible, I'd like to get this all on one page, so if we need to change our font or something, Theresa, so that we can,
So you can't read it?
I was gonna say that.
That'd be me.
no, we could,
If it goes down to 1 or 2 bullets, I could probably do that. So you want sections 1 through 5 on one
one
page,
page.
and then process requirements disclaimer on the flip side.
Well, let's talk about
Okay,
process
okay.
and requirements.
Okay,
I think some of that was redundant,
Mhm.
and so I was Xing out it, and I put keep or X, so this was for discussion. I thought some of it was redundant, it says an application must be completed, well, to me, that's a given.
Mhm.
It says place flags, well, I think when our, inspector goes out there, they're going to use some orange paint, or they're gonna put flags. And then, the road and, Laclede County Road and Bridge will inspect the location, to the proper size of culvert, we're doing that, that's redundant. The department will install new culvert, well, we've already saying that, and all culverts have to meet these minimums, and we've already said that, so from my standpoint, we can eliminate process and requirement. I do like the disclaimer, and it, that can be, where you have a 30-second radio ad, and 20 seconds is everything that, are the side effects of this drug you're taking. The drug's not gonna kill you, but one of these side effects will.
Mhm.
yeah.
10 seconds to tell you how good the drug is, and 20 seconds to tell you how it's
And
gonna
don't
kill
take it
you.
if you're allergic to it.
Exactly, exactly. So that
Put that-
disclaimer could, you know, we could make a whole page out of
I can put that into a footnote at the bottom.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, you bet, yeah. And do you want, can we do will or may? I like may too, but it's not my decision down at the bottom.
it. Okay, so gentlemen, look at that and see what you've got. Refusal to comply with this application process may lead to the removal of the culvert. Failure to comply with this application requirements will or may result in installation expenses. So you want may or
I
will?
like May.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
You okay with that, Joe?
You bet.
Okay, I think, what I'd like to ask is, Theresa, draft this, and I will put it on next,
Will you email me
No,
this, please?
I'm gonna send you an email.
that's what I'm saying, she won't email you. She's saying yes, I'm saying
I'm
no.
gonna,
Yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
I'm
She's doing
sign
this,
this,
and I'm
so
going
this
that.
is the official,
Okay, okay.
oh, I forgot
I
that.
was gonna say, I thought he was gonna do that.
I mean,
I
I have
was.
Outlook, but I think it's all forwarded. I can send an email from that. I think it's, everything's forwarded to you.
Can
Well-
somebody please send me an email with the final draft?
Yes, Theresa will.
Okay.
Mr. Tech over here now, he's all against him, 100% against him to start with.
You know your
8 months
email?
in, yeah,
Is this county email address? Okay, I'll figure it out. I'll figure that out.
part of these words even.
yeah.
And I got the official sign.
Email keeps me mobile.
And then what I'd like this to be is probably, maybe the first of additional, policies, if you will, that we'll put into some type of formal manual, going forward, just a procedure manual so that everybody has a copy. You know, we keep one at Road and Bridge, we'll keep one here at the office. And so whatever we might need to add to this in the future. I distributed a safety document that had been drafted up a few months ago, and, you know, I'd like us to take a look at that, and we just have a best practices manual or policy manuals, something that just formalizes this process. And I think that benefits us today, and I think it will benefit future commissions as they take up the business that comes before them in future years. You can always amend something if it doesn't work. Times change. But I think this is a really good start, for us to lay a good foundation of best practices. And I think a lot of this has been done, it's just been done more informally. And, sometimes when you get too informal, that's when you end up with,
A good gray area.
yeah, or just unpleasant conversations with the landowner if you're able to prevent this ahead of time. And I think all of this, meets any expectation I think I would have as a landowner. You know, spells out what I need to do. So, okay? All right, next item of business would be general county business.
You heard anything back from the old boy on Hillsdale?
No, Joe, I haven't.
I went out there and looked that over. Yes, the roads are definitely wide now.
Yeah,
And
No.
They had to be made that way
My-
so you would miss the potholes, would lose your truck.
yeah.
Bad shape, but
My last communication was an email that I sent him that we had not received. He had stated in an email that there was a petition that he believed had been signed and turned in. I communicated that we have not received the petition and that I would be more than happy to mail him one, or he could come by and pick one up. And I haven't heard back from him. So
Yeah.
at this point, Joe, I don't know, we could reach out to the property, if we want to. But at this point, I think we've,
What would be the real reasoning for us to reach out to the developer?
only just, hey, are you aware of a petition that's been circulated among your residences there? I don't know, but this gentleman has not reached back yet.
Yeah. And like I said, I drove out through there and I counted at least 21 residents on that road.
And that's a road I've had calls, at least twice, that in the wintertime, they'd like it bladed, and I've had to be the bad guy and say that's a private road, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
That's right.
And, so, you know, either we unilaterally take it in, but then we've gotta bring it up to our specs, but if we wanna be consistent with policy, of county policy,
Yep.
then it's up to the developer to bring it up to specs. They let it lay for a year, we go back and re-inspect it, yes, it meets all of our conditions, and we have a properly filed petition, and then we take it in as a county.
They don't so much as let it lay for a year, they maintain it and keep it up to specs for a year, is that correct?
That is correct. Jim.
Okay.
Yeah, but we don't make a decision for a year to make sure that in that year's time, that if it needs additional maintenance,
Mhm.
culverts, material, whatever,
Right.
that would be done.
Yeah.
You're right.
You bet. Well, if you do hear back from him on something or anything like that, if you could pass my name and number along to him, I'd be willing to speak
Okay,
with him on that, but I'm not actually gonna reach out.
you're referencing the developer.
Developer, I know who the developer, I believe I know who the developer was, or
I can
even your individual,
here,
Jones or something else.
just forward that to you. Hey, Kristy, come on in. What you got for us?
I didn't know if I had to tell you guys that I was going to shred some of my checks from First State Community Bank. That's all I needed. Do you need the check numbers?
What's your check range?
26011 to 28020. That's all I needed to
You bet.
know. Alright, thanks.
Thank you, Kristy. Have a
Is
good day.
That's a general revenue account?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're still in general county business.
Got our new brush cutter in,
We did? Nice,
here it's out, working.
okay. Who ended up in that?
My understanding, I believe Guy Gregory ended up with that.
Okay. He was next in line, so
That's,
that's,
yep, that's
My
what
understanding.
that's what my understanding as well. I wasn't involved with that, but I got told how he went through the process, so I said, oh, great, sounds good. I shared
I
it,
think
done that.
Lynn had got
That
the
conclusion.
previous new one,
Mhm.
and then I'm assuming then, Willie got the guy's old one.
Mhm.
So now we have two setting,
No.
no, we had four,
Mhm.
right?
I think-
We had three on the road and the backup.
Mhm.
We had three on the road when we couldn't have three on the road.
Mhm.
And the backup, so now we have three on the road and two,
We also have Rick still out also on the road.
okay, good, so we have four of them
Rick
now.
and Lynn, the way I understand it is Rick and Lynn are running tandem,
Great,
and then we have Guy and Willie are running tandem as well.
great.
And then we have the oldest one at the shop.
It's ready to go,
No.
okay,
Air conditioning. And
Okay.
I think,
What?
and it's not working on it.
And the old one,
Hasn't been on the old.
well, I think whenever he's saying ready to go,
Ready to leave?
put out for bid.
No, not at this point, you know, maybe we need to get a little closer, into the fall and make sure where we're at on different things. I mean, if it's not working, then we don't need a piece of equipment sitting around now that we have another one, but is there any, will we want, 4 brush cutters on the road when we go into budget? Will we want 3? So my recommendation would be hang on to it. These, you know, I think I've seen notes this week where brush cutter 5 had issues again, and there was another one that had issues, so, we have more issues than maybe the oldest one, Joe, I don't know. I'm not ready to make that call yet. Maybe we need another brush cutter next year. Not suggesting that, I don't think so. I think we're gonna need another dump truck when we get ready to talk about equipment. So I think I would hold off right at this point. But I am glad to hear it's here, I am glad to hear we're running in tandem, because that really seemed to, help us kind of not get ahead of things, but at least get back.
On track.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit before we get back on track in around my area.
Yeah, well, this year here with the way all the grass and Johnson grass especially has been growing, and, you know, 3
Okay.
weeks after they go through, it's already back up.
Still in county business, general county business. Nothing? Okay. All right, so this is just some FYI stuff we received, from the Department of Interior, questionnaires, regarding the possible casino at the lake and how that might affect Laclede County. I read through these, and, you know, we can comment if you want to, anticipated impacts on the social structure, infrastructure, services, housing, community character, and land use patterns of the surrounding community, and so they have all these questions that you can respond to. I don't know that I personally would take the time to try to respond to that, but, that's just a FYI before I put it in file 13. Unless one of you two want to respond to those questionnaires.
It was the Indian Nation, right?
Osage Nation.
Yeah.
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 Osage Nation.
How close are they on getting that started? Cause this is a part of the environmental process, right? Before they can even break ground or do anything like that, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, just, I'm sure it's just the beginning of all those processes that in your previous.
Well, that's nice, like one, I mean, cause I've seen the specs on over there and what it's supposed to look like, but I'm thinking surely they haven't broken ground if they're just getting this done, cause this gotta go through a whole comment period and everything like that, so.
Yeah, I believe this here's just the initial, that's dated back June of last year,
Okay, yeah,
so I'd say it's still in that
yeah, yeah.
end of process there that you're speaking of, so.
It sounds like there's momentum
Mm-hmm,
from what I hear.
I can see that too.
But as far as what that path looks like, at this point, I'm sure it's just all those processes that have to go through. It kinda seems like it's, gonna happen. Okay, the other thing I received a letter from SEMA, and this is our final amount that we received for the fiscal year 24 on our emergency management performance grant. The federal funds were changed to $40,433.81 from the original award amount $42,006.03, and that's just to be what we collect. And I think we budgeted, I looked in our budget and we did budget I think it was 40,000, it was 40,000, something less than 433. So this is a couple $100 more than what we budgeted for. It's my understanding that, OEM is waiting for the official letter to come down for what next year's EMPG grant looks like. And when we get that, then that's when I will start to work with, the City of Lebanon on the MOU to provide services for the city from OEM. Part of my reasoning to hold back is the formula that I would like us to consider, and what I propose to the city, instead of a flat amount, is tied to the EMPG grant. If it goes up, city participation is less. When EMPG goes down, city participation is a little more. And I'd like to tie that into the MOU if possible. So once I see what that number will look like for next year, then I'll begin the process to reach out to the city and see if we can get that MOU drafted prior to our budget for 26. So that's just an update on why I haven't pursued that at this point. What did we budget? It was 40,000. 215, so it's a couple, you want that letter? Okay, I don't know that, I guess we'll go public comments, items listed on the agenda.
Is that MOU that you just mentioned, is that something that the county has to sign with the city every year?
No, this would actually, this is new, Jack. Historically, the county has provided, OEM type services, weather notifications, training, hosting, different, events at the OEM, conference room. We have stood up the Emergency Operations Center during ice storms in the past. And so all those services we have been providing to the City of Lebanon, and a few years ago, they did contribute, an amount of funds, but it was tied to capital expenses. We couldn't use it for anything but equipment. We still have just, a small amount left in that fund, not a lot. We've been very careful how we've used it. But this was a more formal process. I reached out to Greene County OEM director. He was here in Laclede County many years ago, and I'm just searching for ideas as to how we could put something together. And with the OEM director and myself, we approached city administration, and they would like to participate. But we need a formal agreement as to what that looks like. So this would be a formal agreement that we've really not had in place before. And it's really a good, that, you know, when governments can work together, we should see some savings in the services provided, you know, so there's no redundant services. The city could stand up their own OEM department if they wanted to. Statutorily, they can. But the statutes also provide that we can enter an MOU to provide those services to a municipality. And I think everybody's in agreement now, it's just getting it formalized.
Gotcha. And then, back with the driveway and entranceway policy, at that bullet point about, the county has the right to remove if they don't meet the minimum guidelines of the application. Was that still at the landowner's expense?
It would be, in that, again, what we experienced recently, we had a pipe installed that would not meet the requirements. So that culvert, we did work with the landowner, and we did get it replaced with the proper culvert. Was there an additional expense in that case? I'm not sure. I think it was an effort to make sure we had the right culvert in the ground. But in order for us to maintain these roads, we have to make sure that we have the proper size culvert and the proper material. And again, none of this is to be punitive, it's to prevent improper installations that could lead to road damage or erosion or clogged up pipes, and that impacts all of us. All right, we'll go to, I assume, Jack, that was your last question?
Yes, it was.
I haven't limited you on questions.
No, we
Okay.
haven't.
All right. Routine business, please. This is one page here.
Don't use that small font, please.
Go up to the next one.
Yeah, okay. It's Well, you
Linda
want
brought the
magnify
phone
double?
over there.
Just email it, and then I think there is an app on the
Just use your phone, take the
that
camera,
has
make it bigger.
a magnifier. So
And
let's
every
just
time-
really test the skill set.
Every time I touch it and move though, they go back to smaller screen and then there I am. So I lose thought process.
Any questions on the warrants that were paid?
No.
No, okay.
Next time I'll have more coming.
You bet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, trail cam to try to find that armadillo that's moving. So we had a trail cam, and we're hoping that we don't get pictures of our dogs and their mouths and stuff like that, but it was like, opening up the instructions was, I can't even read it, so I had to take a picture and expand it on my iPad, so I had a bigger screen, it was like, yeah, my husband and I are both like, we can't read this. We do have some fantastic pictures of our dogs' noses, though. It's like, they understand the trail cam. I think we need to move it out off Pacific Drive and find out everybody who's stealing the signs. Put a trail cam up there. Yeah, we'll donate it as soon as our armadillo is removed.
And on these payroll changes, I'm sure we've looked at those compared to our structure and budget. Okay. Okay, okay. All right, so now we're down to public comments, items not listed on the agenda. Yeah, yes, none, okay. Gentlemen, we're back in other business in case there's anything that came up. Okay.
So there's that drug treatment court there, so.
Do you have anything you'd like to see on the next, agenda for next week? At this point?
Not at this point, I don't.
Okay.
Like, just consideration for you guys for health insurance as we're approaching the fall. Other counties, we had a regional meeting Friday, and it appears that health insurance is relative, no matter where you go. There's no one company that just absolutely makes the cut, and everybody wants to go to them, they're all high. But, I don't know if we wanna bid out this year. We can stay and let our broker do the bidding, or we can bid out entirely and see if there's somebody somewhere that has something going on, but insurance is becoming tighter in networks and in management, and I'm not sure what kind of out of the box thinking, but maybe y'all will hear something that would be advantageous to the county to consider. I'm trying to ask around to other counties and say, what's advantageous to you? What have you found that works? Actually, we ended up sharing with other counties our supplemental policy, because that was advantageous maybe to them. So I was like, well, I'm glad to do that. I was hoping to get something from you all, but I'm glad to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that, Miss Lindsey.
And so that's what I was thinking for next week, if you wanna have some thoughts or ideas or not, just to see, consider what we might do. We can get some numbers together, what we're paying currently, what's our coverage currently. For consideration next year.
And I think maybe just to add on to that, if we decide we wanna do that, this year would probably be the year to do it, because next year you're gonna be deeper into elections next year, right? So,
To pull census information, bid out to other places, it's a time consuming chore, it's, sometimes you gain on it, but this would be a better selected year if we were gonna do it.
okay, I'll make that an agenda item for next week, and we can have some, discussion on that, and maybe in the meantime, if we hear anything individually, we can bring that to the table. Okay? Anything else to come before the commission? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.